Hello, and welcome to Unrequested with Rad and Shank. I'm Rad.
This is Jay Shank over here. What's going on, peoples?
All right, and this is our premiere episode, so there's going to be a few stumbles, but the idea here is we are not editing anything, so we are just going to kind of just freestyle and talk like we do. Yeah. We're best friends, and we just have a lot of fun together. So we thought it'd be fun to kind of just try this podcasting thing out, kind of talk about some things that are near and dear or just interesting. And then just kind of let it flow. And I hope you guys enjoy it.
Yeah, I hope y'all enjoy it too, man. This is something that it's like, like Rad said, it's new to us. And so, we have great conversations, right? And
Absolutely.
It's like, what if we move it to an actual official black microphone in front of our face?
Yeah, a black microphone.
It's about 4 inches. Dang, I think we're coming a little hot.
Yeah. It came in a little hot. That was a touch much. We're finding our rhythm here. So,
yeah, we are.
So be patient.
We are.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
That said, we also have my wife producing this episode. So she's behind the scenes. She's over here. She's our fact checker or just, keeping us in checker. But anyway.
Jennifer DeRusso.
That's right.
Shout out to you.
Jennifer, say hi.
Hi.
Oh, okay. We're a little too giggly, but
yeah, we are.
Let's get this going. The idea here is that week over week, we will pick like a few subjects to talk about, or our wives will pick a subject. But again, understand that the reason this is called Unrequested is because you didn't ask for it, but we're going to give it to you.
Very thick. Like layer it on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like we're going to layer it on. Now, there will be layers. Listen, we're goofing around a lot, guys, but let's give you some background. Now, we are professionals.
Yeah.
In that sense that I myself had a professional career, and I say that basically a couple years ago I just retired. I did 20 years in the corporate structure of a Fortune 500 company, and I did very well there. I opened a business. I have several businesses I run with my wife right now. Some are lucrative, most are not. But we're finding our way through being entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah.
And so this is a leap that we just took. And so we're doing that side of life, okay? And my man Shank here is still a very business professional. He has 2 degrees, and he's very intelligent, very professional. No, you're welcome.
Oh
but we're fun guys. We like to have a good time, but we offer some intellect, okay? So I want you to understand that we're not here to just goof around. We will be offering some advice and just our take on things, which can get silly, but that's what makes it fun, right? But at the same time, I want you guys to understand like what we genuinely have to offer as far as some genuine advice.
Yeah.
That said, Shank, if you want to go into like your career, and again, I'm more on the entrepreneur side, and Shank is more on the career path. Like he has a solid career going, and so that's where you would get that perspective.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course.
Man, my full name is Justin Shankle, but I go by Jay Shank or Shank. And so, growing up in Colorado, it's been a beautiful journey for sure. Grew up in Park Hill. Went to Park Hill Elementary, Smiley Middle School, George Washington. Shout out to my green footprint. Woo woo! I don't even what is that? I think it is a foot. I don't even know why it's a foot. I have no idea. Oh, Patriot. That's what it is, because it's a Patriot. But man, I grew up and kind of had different types of options here. It's either option A or option B. Option A is go the different route, just be who I am and just kind of let my environment shape my mental state. Or the B route is to let my mom be that stern disciplinary person in my life and get me on track and get me in programs and things like that to just get me where I need to be as an adult. And so I'm very appreciative of my mother and the things that she's done for me, and went to Metro State, got my degree in political science and a minor in public affairs, and thought I was going to go the law school route. Funny story, by the way. I got to tell you this.
Please tell.
So I was going, after I got my bachelor's degree, I was going the law school route. I'll never forget this. You got to take an LSAT. That's the law school assessment test.
Okay.
And so I have to take this test. So I told my wife about it. I was like, babe, I'm about to go do this law thing. This is what it's going to be. She's like, great. So the first thing I did was I went to Barnes and Nobles and I got a book called LSAT for Dummies. You know the dummies
of course. Yeah, those are great books. I mean, everyone should know what those. Well, maybe this generation doesn't. Maybe because with the internet now, maybe like I do all my research online now, so I don't know if this generation uses those dummy books. But pre-internet or even early internet,
that was the thing.
That aside from Cliff Notes, like those, food truck for dummies, LSTAT for dummies, SAT for dummies. That was the way you got basic knowledge.
That's it. Yeah. So I got that book and read one page. I read one page and I literally told myself, I was like, you know what? If I'm a prodigy of this stuff, if I am the man, if I'm going to be this guy to go to law school, I should just know this out the gate. So I read one page, sat down, took the LSAT, and I bombed it. I actually got like the lowest of lowest tier scores. And so you go on this website and you see your score, and then you'll see law schools that accept your score. There was one that accepted my score and would admit me to a student if I were to apply. And I think that school was actually shut down somewhere in North Carolina. I can't remember what it was called, but I was like, oh my God, that's what I qualified for. So anyways, fast forward, I just said, you know what, I'll go ahead and do my HR thing. And so I got my master's from University of Denver in HR management with a concentration in global human resources. And now I'm an HR guy at a cybersecurity company.
Yeah.
Doing my thing, man.
Very successful.
Appreciate it.
I have no college degree.
Yeah.
So I grew up overseas. I'm a military brat. And I was graduated from high school in Guam. And to my Guam peeps, shout out. I loved growing up there. It's a great place. Yeah, Pacific Islander all the way. But I was going to UOG, so I went to University of Guam, which actually I thought was kind of laughable at the time, but shockingly when I came here, right?
Yeah.
When people were like, oh, you came from Guam. I heard the universities are amazing. They thought like I had this prestigious education.
Yeah.
And I was so confused because to us, like, man, the classrooms we didn't have electricity. Like we didn't have air conditioning. Like we had these metal louvers that you let air in, and you had like a busted fan. And I mean, it was like.
Did you have like a little monkey with a stick moving the fan? Like.
I'm telling you, man, it was like third world, right?
Yeah.
I mean, now they had nice buildings and you were like, God, I hope that my next class is in the math and science building because they just rebuilt it and there's air conditioning, or we call it aircon. And I used to come here and say aircon, and people were like, "What?" I say, "You got aircon?" Now my Islanders, Filipinos, my Hawaii, like if you are a Pacific Islander, you know what aircon is. So show me some love, download, or just give us some love. But because I'm representing up in here, but we always said aircon, so there was a lot of weird stuff coming over. But anyway, I left college out there to come to this we call it the mainland. So you got to go back to the mainland. Okay. So when you're in Guam, your dream is to get back to the mainland or the states. We call it the states. Guam is a U.S. territory, U.S. citizens, but the states, the mainland, that's where you want to go. So I moved here. My cousin was living here in Colorado, and so I moved here. He promised he could give me a job, and I got a job at
I got you, fam.
Right?
You come up, and it's like, it's McDonald's?
Yeah, kind of. I would say it was a step down. I was working at a telemarketing firm.
Okay.
So I was the guy calling you at dinner trying to sell you like a life insurance policy, right?
Really? I didn't know you did that.
I was a telemarketer, yes. And so I did that job for a while.
Yeah.
And then I had a good personality, I guess, and so I was in sales. So then they put me through like a school to get my insurance license, and so I actually am a licensed life insurance salesman, health and life insurance, and I'm also licensed for auto insurance. But I think that's a series. I can't remember, guys. It was another lifetime.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's expired. I haven't taken the test in I think I was licensed in, man, I'm about to date myself. I think I got my license in 1998.
Oh
so
my gosh.
My license is. And so anyway, I was doing that, just working 9 to 5. I was going to go back to college, but I had a son. And so I was really young, and I ended up getting two and a half jobs. I was kind of delivering newspapers and stuff, just trying to make ends meet. And I was kind of struggling through that. And then I got in with this company so the company I was working for was an offshoot of Allstate, and I was selling life insurance policies. And then I got, what do you call it? the company got bought out and then dissolved, and so we were all laid off. So I ended up at ADT, where actually you and I met.
Yep.
And I started at the bottom, just kind of call center work, but more alarm dispatching and stuff, and moved my way up the ranks. Up the ranks there, and then became management. And I did really good for myself, especially considering I did not have a degree, which that was kind of a prerequisite. But again, I was fortunate to get in a company that recognized my hard work, and I built a career there, as I stated before. During that time, various interests. I was a novelist at one point.
That's
if you recall that.
I do remember
you
that.
actually interviewed me at my book release party.
I remember a question I asked you, which was, and I don't even know why I asked you this question, but I was like, so do you know, like, where's your base of creating your novels?
Right.
Do you know these people? And you said, oh God, I hope I didn't. I hope I don't know people that kill people.
So my novels were fiction novels, and they mostly were like hitmen and very dark and action packed, because that was kind of my medium. Shank was like, do you draw inspiration from personal life? I was like, oh God, no. No. Because then people who read my books, it was like, I remember one of our friends, Jennifer, she was laughing. She couldn't finish my romance. I wrote a romance novel, it was like an actual romance novel, and she said she couldn't get past the intimate scenes because she couldn't take it serious, because she was one of our best friends, and she was kind of like, I just picture Rad like writing at his keyboard, like, oh yeah, oh that's hot. And so she was like, so I just couldn't finish it. And so it was like, I wanted people to understand, no. Like, your creative process doesn't mean that like you think like that. You have to go there to be creative, right? You do. But no, man. I'm not like a messed up in the head or anything. Not any more than I am. Which people know me as. I'm pretty safe. You can leave your kids with me. Right?
I would say so. I leave both with you.
Leave your kids with me.
Yeah. You guys, you're trustworthy.
So anyway, so I did that, and that was a passion of mine for years, and I actually won an award, and I went to New York to accept an award for being a fiction, what was it? God, Next Generation Fiction Writer Award for like one of the books I wrote, which was really cool. And I just thought, man, like, all these accolades were going to come with that. No. And then I started to realize that like, it's basically trying to make it as a novelist is harder than, garage bands make more money than writers. That's what they're saying. Like a band that plays in a garage and maybe has a gig here and there at a bar makes more money than a writer. 98% of the writers can't live off of their writing. The 2% are your the writers about. Anyway, that's not why I quit, because I'm not a quitter. But I just kind of lost my passion for it when I started doing, MMA and jiu-jitsu and all that stuff. So I started doing that. I was putting, my son and I, and then I started training in it and competing. And then I started teaching, and then I fell in love with that, and then just took me in a different trajectory. And now I own a gym, and I own online programs, and we have a training app. So that's
beautiful, man.
Yeah. So I went the entrepreneurial route. And still, I will say this to people thinking about starting a business, like, I kept my job mainly because at the time I still enjoyed it. We were working together. We all met at the previous company that we all worked at. All of us, us two, our wives, like we're still friends, which is great. So then eventually companies changed and things got real ugly. And so I had I finally found the strength. I don't know if things were still okay. I don't know if I would have had the courage to leave so it was like a sign, the way they started kind of treating me. After 20 years with them, and my wife, she walked me outside and was like, nope, you quit today. And I was like, well, I've been here 20 years. I can't just walk out today. She was like, no, you're done. Friday's your last day.
It's interesting our wives do that.
Right.
They direct our decisions.
Ain't nobody treating my man like that. Forget that. Like, you done today. And so, but that gave me courage, because there's full support from my wife.
I love it though. That's awesome, man.
And so then, I was doing this by myself, and I was doing decent. And then the beginning of this year, same company, my wife had been there for 22 years, and then they laid her off after 22 years. Wow. And so she just came in and committed to my business. And then it became our business, and now our businesses, and now we're kind of doing it in tandem. And so that's where we are. So again, like I said, there's perspectives that we can provide, given like either from, I used to say solopreneur, because I was genuinely doing it by myself, but now it's entrepreneur. My wife is a partner in this. And then again, you from a professional, you've been very successful in progressing your career. Like, I want to talk about this a little bit. I remember when you used to work for me. When we worked at a company and you were one of my employees, when you got your second degree, I remember you applied. Well, you did your internship in the HR department for free. Yeah. So you're basically working 2 shifts because you would do the whole morning shift in HR interning.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I thought, oh, maybe he's getting paid. I was like, no, it's intern. It's like,
it was free.
What?
Free 99.
And then you would leave HR, come into the center, and then log in and work your full shift.
Yeah, man.
And you did that for a while. So you went through all that, and then I was like, okay. And then I hired you into my department because you were doing, just amazing. And we were already friends before that.
Yeah.
That did not impact my decision to hire him. He was qualified. I just want to be clear about that.
Statement. Message.
And so then, I didn't know you were doing this behind the scenes the whole time, but you had put out 60 applications?
It was 60 plus applications,
60 plus applications
for
because
HR.
His determination was that I have a degree in this. I just did this internship. That is the career that I'm going to take. And so I'm going to apply until I get into that field.
Oh, yeah.
So walk me through like the drive to because here's the thing.
Yeah.
Most people, like my wife, her degree she had 2 degrees. She has a degree in computer networking and computer information systems, right? Yes? Okay. And so she was going to go into cybersecurity. Mm-hmm. She was actually looking at jobs working for the cybersecurity force for the FBI and all this other stuff, but she had been with this company for 16 years when she graduated. So she was like, well, I'm just going to stay here.
Yeah.
And so she really never went into that field. I remember one of her bosses at one point, he was high up in the company structure. And I remember asking him what his degree was, and it was philosophy. And
Are you serious?
Yeah. And it was like, what? And so, and we have another friend, Tasha. Her degree's in marketing. She owns a food truck.
Right.
Right. So very rarely does someone actually get a degree and go into that field, primarily because once you finish your degree, either the work to get to that job is too hard.
It's too hard.
Or your interests change.
Yeah.
Your path changes. So how did you stay on track?
Oh my gosh, man. That's a great question, brother, because one of the things that I hang my coat on so dearly is the people that I surround myself. Not only I see how they push themselves in their personal lives, such as you, my mom, Angie, Jen, people that I truly call in my intimate circle of folks that I know, seeing them push themselves in their personal lives. I'm the type of guy that if I see them cutting their teeth, grinding, doing what they need to do, I need to do what I need to do.
Right.
And so that consisted of just perseverance. And perseverance came originally from my mother and seeing her raising 4 boys by herself. I mean,
yeah, your mother's amazing.
Yeah, and she worked in a really big grocery store chain where she put in 28 years. Recently, retired, and so she's living her best life.
Absolutely, and the fact that she was able to retire, like nobody retires anymore.
Nobody retires anymore, man.
And your mom was able to retire from her job.
See,
people retire, but they retire like retirement, which is what is retirement now? Jennifer, is it 72? Like 60, remember?
I think 67.
67. People used to retire at 62. I remember when I was a kid, people's grandparents were always retired.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Always retired.
But no one's retired anymore.
Uh-oh. Fact check.
It is 62 is the average retirement age for the benefit.
Oh,
okay.
Really?
But then the payout is a joke, right? Because both of our parents had to wait, like your dad waited to 68. Mm-hmm. My dad's still waiting, and he's past 60. What? God, sorry, Dad.
Oh my gosh!
I guess 66. And how old is my? Anyway,
fact check.
You know what? He keeps lying, man.
Yeah.
I asked my dad how old. He's like, oh boy, I'm 45, 35. He never tells the truth.
But you got
and my math is bad, so I know the year he was born.
I'm terrible at math too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Sorry about that.
54. Okay, so we're going to hang tight. We're going to get that math done.
Fact checking.
In case my dad listens to this.
Yeah, and so while we're fact checking, man, seeing my mom grind, like she faced so many obstacles and difficulties. We got it?
66?
66.
Right, so I was right.
So Pops 66?
Up top.
Oh my gosh!
Right.
High five! That was actually high 3.
Yeah,
I fingered 3.
Well, we're sitting
or 3 fingers.
We're sitting too close.
We are.
Yeah,
we are.
Yeah.
But what, so my mom, man, she was just grinding all the time. She always, had these uphill battles with her employer, whether it was good, bad, ugly stuff, situations, but she never gave up. Mm-hmm. And she was always looking for the next challenge. Even as a matter of fact, when she had all 4 boys, she was going back to school back and forth. Mm-hmm. She took a pause after she had me, which I'm the last one out of 4.
Right.
And took a pause. And she says, you know what? I'm going to feed into my children, let them live their best life, make sure they have what they need. And then maybe I'll go back. So that maybe she actually did go back.
And your mom just got a degree as well.
She got her bachelor's and her master's from the University of Denver.
Right. Because I remember, I didn't even know your mom was still in school. But when I was still working in my career, she reached out.
Yeah.
Because she wanted to come in and she was doing a project and she needed to speak to a corporation about certain things.
Yes.
So I remember meeting with her and helping her with that project. She came in and we walked her through our structure.
Yep.
And I was like shocked because, and this is after you had already been starting, you were at Comcast.
I think it was at Comcast,
I think in that HR department. So you had already moved on your career. Mm-hmm. But, of course, us being friends and everything, and she reached out. But I remember thinking, wow, I did not know she was still in school. That's when I found out she was still in school.
Yeah.
Then I remember when she graduated. That's amazing.
Like, yeah, man. So she didn't give up. And so, being, her child and just being on the outside in, looking at all of this, it was just building this fire in my belly to and it's a fire in the belly of just perseverance, right. Even no matter of all these obstacles and things that you face. Let me tell you this. I don't think I ever told you this. So I went to Tuskegee University in Alabama, and I was out there for 2 years and, messing up. I think I was struggling a 1.9. I was trying to get a 2.0, trying to live my best life at the same time on a super budget. But when you're a college student and you're in another state, it's like, and there's no parental, and you're young.
You're young. You're
going to do your thing.
You're you only have so much knowledge.
You only have so much knowledge, but check this out. So I remember I knew I had to have a conversation with myself because I was acting out of character. And so I needed to come back. I knew I needed to come back. All my friends at Tuskegee was looking for me, because it was in the fall or the winter time where we were on break, and I just didn't come back. Shank wasn't back in his dorm, like he's not here, and so they're like, "What the heck?" So I got blown up, And I said, "Hey guys, I have some self-realization. I need to stay home. I need to do my thing." So you fast forward to me transferring to Metro.
Right.
So Tuskegee, they had about 60 credits.
Right.
And they only allowed 15 credits to transfer to Metro.
Dude, I'm telling you now, that's the same story as Jennifer.
Same story as Jen.
Jennifer went to Parks College, okay?
I remember Parks College.
Parks College?
Yeah.
So they're telling you when you're there, you're getting your degree, blah, blah, which... Truth be told, you did get a degree. So that's what the counselor when we were at Regis. So Jennifer transferred up to Regis University. So her bachelor's from Regis. When she transferred up, they looked at her credits. She had 60 credits. They said, I can only take 10. Jennifer just sank.
Oh, my gosh.
And so, do you remember?
So you know.
So Jennifer sank, and she was so heartbroken. The counselor said, well, here's the good news. You're going to get a degree here. You have to go basically from the beginning. So instead of only having to do 2 years of Regis, she had to do 4 full years like a new student.
Years.
But the counselor's like, well, you do have 2 degrees. Even though the accreditation did not transfer over.
Yeah.
You have a degree. You have an associate's from this school. You have a bachelor's from our university.
Yep.
So I always told her, hang your hat on that, But you're right. So many of those schools, man, listen, if you guys are looking at, don't take the shortcuts. Do your research.
Yeah.
And understand what the accreditation of these schools are.
No
man,
doubt.
God, I remember there was a time where there were so many of them, man. I don't know. Pickens might be legit, but there was Parks College. There was, you've got the school you went to. I mean, there's so many, man. Jennifer just got hit up by one, and it's probably legitimate. But Jennifer's re-educating herself in the cybersecurity realm. Right? Because that's what her degree was in. So, but she got hit up by a school, and now we're doing our due diligence and researching it. And okay, that school's. It's not that they're not accredited, but when it comes to employers, this school's more reputable.
Yep.
I mean,
you got to do.
You have no reason now.
Yeah.
Back then, when you guys were in school like that, you couldn't get on the internet and find scam alerts.
No, you couldn't.
You really couldn't.
You
right?
can't do that.
Now, I mean, man, the internet's blown the world wide open. There's nowhere to hide.
There's literally an answer for everything.
You are bare ass. There is nowhere to hide. If it's out there, if you put it out there, or if you did anyone wrong,
Yeah.
Like any business.
Yeah.
It's out there.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
It is.
So the minute I get anything suspicious, I type in Google, I'm like, blah, blah, blah,
Search
scam.
it out.
Boom. First 5 things. And I'm like, yep, scam.
See where it's at, man.
You know what I mean?
See where
So,
it's at.
I mean, that is comforting.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, well, you know, I didn't mean to jump on your story, but that's kind of back then. A lot of people, those schools got away with that.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
let's just talk about Trump University for a second.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
This fool. Like, now listen, I don't want to, this is not going to be a political podcast. I have no intention of doing that. I have my political beliefs. Well, Shank and I pretty much line up on that.
That's right.
But the whole thing about it, another like unaccredited phony university, and this dude was like being sued. Anyway,
yeah.
it's just another one of those things where anyone could start a school back then. And I think that I would imagine that now that's a little harder of a scam.
Oh, yeah.
But it all relies on the people that are being kind of fished, right?
It does.
You have to do your research.
You do.
Right?
You do.
You have to kind of blame yourself if you get scammed nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you should have just you know, man, I mean, I think about what Scott said. Okay. You have basically a computer in your pocket, right? And I remember, I'll never forget this. We were at dinner.
Gosh.
And so he
Blew my
said,
mind.
it was like, and I never thought about it this way, but he goes, hey man, could you imagine 100 years ago, guy sitting around a fire, and he's like, hey, I wonder what it would be like to have all the answers. And I just, my head, I was like, wait a minute. He was like, well, look at us now. I've got all the answers in my pocket. You
Yeah.
want to know? Let's look it up.
Google it. Google.
And my daughter, my wife, we Google everything.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
like, well, what's the past tense of this word? Well, let's Google it real quick.
Yeah. Let's Google it. Let's Google it, man.
To say, I mean, you could still get scammed. I'm not dumb enough to like, there's some clever, and then the scams just evolve as well.
Oh, yeah, it does.
But certain things, man, you just do your due diligence.
And for me, for my situation,
Yeah.
Tuskegee University was a private school. And
yeah.
so
I knew a lot of people who did Tuskegee.
Oh yeah, so it was a private institute, and so all the courses and everything was very customary to Tuskegee Institute, and so that's kind of where it happened. But so when they transferred and they said this is all that we can do, when I'm sitting in front of my potential new advisor at Metro, I sunk too, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I have to start over. So after I had that conversation where I pretty much have to start over and do 4 years at Metro versus 2.
Right.
I got the job at ADT at the time, what it was called, and I had to make a decision. And I was just like, what am I going to do? So in that time space, it's interesting how these things work in our lives, and you know, you'll take a situation that's meant for your harm, but it actually intended for my good, because what ended up happening was that 2-year experience at Tuskegee lessened to just a semester, to me having to decide on whether I'm willing to take the whole college, you know, journey over again. I had to make a decision, and I decided to do that. Well, with that experience alone of having to work from the bottom up again to get my bachelor's degree, that type of tenacity, that type of bite kind of carried into me, man, from through and through. So ever since I finished it and got my bachelor's, I started to apply to positions. It was just this fire in my belly that it doesn't matter how far my setback was, as long as I get up. You know, my crew here, not only my brother, but, you know, Rad, and I also refer to him my crew because he is my professor for Muay Thai. I'm a brown belt. Shout out to all the brown belts in Muay Thai.
Muay Thai?
But I remember he always tells us, you know, he gives us these talks before and after, which is if you're gonna fall, you need to fall forward. Don't fall back.
Yep.
Because if you fall forward, you can see where you're falling. You can at least get back up, have some better momentum, and keep going. And so that's kind of where it all started, was that experience of such a letdown, but it was actually my biggest character builder of me knowing that, okay, I can push through this.
Yeah.
And I got my degree. Oh, and I got another degree, and I went for the LSAT and failed that, but it was okay.
Right. Because I think with the LSAT situation it sounded like you were curious.
I was
That was a
curious.
potential path.
I
And
was
you were
poking.
like,
Yeah.
and you were like, well, I might, but you know, when you're excited about something, right?
I
You
know. I know.
And that said, man, I mean, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful story. Like,
So that's where it is.
yeah. Well, then, you know, and this episode again it's the first episode, so it is kind of an introduction. I don't know if we're out of sync with this, because I know most people wait till they've got a following and then they're like, let me tell you about my life. You know,
Yeah.
I'm an interesting person, and I don't know if we're interesting. I don't know that yet, but I hope you're enjoying it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But it's just kind of like give me some background. And honestly, it's, we're learning how to podcast. So we're
absolutely.
So we're like figuring this out. And I think a subject that we can speak well on is ourselves, right?
Yeah.
And that said, I was actually going to call our podcast Who We Be. Jennifer nixed that. Jennifer, what were your thoughts on that?
I'd rather not say.
It wasn't clever. Now, sidebar. I'm a huge fan of DMX. I love his music.
What you really want from her?
And Who We Be is a great track. And I just thought of it and I was like, because who we be? Who are we, right? But Jennifer was right. We wanted something. I don't know. We kicked around. We kicked around so many names. But man, that's like anything else. And then it just came down to this. Like, we're basically rambling into a microphone. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's no one asked for it. No one no one was like, you guys are so interesting.
Yeah.
I need to hear you guys in my car when I'm driving to work.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that it becomes, interesting, or do people do dig it. But that's why we call it Unrequested.
Yeah, man.
Because if you recall, I asked my daughter for a name and she actually said answers with no questions, because we said we're just going to give you our thoughts on things. You didn't really ask for it. It jumped from that to like Unrequested. Like I said, you didn't ask for it, but we're going to give it to you.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a little fun.
Hell yeah.
That said, one of the things while we're talking about ourselves, you've had a very interesting couple weeks, and this is a subject that has been like it has not dropped. Like,
it hasn't dropped.
Shank, let me explain something. Shank it's part of his charm, right? It's part of his charisma. Mm-hmm. Would you say, Jennifer? Would you say?
Yes, very much.
It's part of his charisma and his charm is that he's very open. And
I'm hot. My church says hot. It's humble, open, and transparent. Shout out to Pastor Michael Todd, Transformation Church.
That is a perfect description.
Like Pastor Michael Todd, man. Love that man.
That's a good acronym.
Yes,
I'm digging that. But if you watch this man in real life, like, there's not a person he can't start a conversation with, right? And that's, I aspire to be like you in that aspect. I love the way you.
That.
Well, I love the way you interact with people, man. I've never seen anyone that come around. Everyone who comes around you, they're comfortable. Like, you look awesome, interested in everything.
Yeah. Yeah. And, and that's one of the things is interesting as it can be. It's just all about that path that we take.
Right. Okay. So, that said, I you always look very interested, and you genuinely are interested in what people have to say. So they really gravitate towards you. That said, I don't know if I want to say you don't have no shame, but to some extent you have no shame. Like, like you really are an open book. And I think,
am, man.
But that builds so much comfort with people. The things that you are willing to tell people about your personal life, I think they're like, you know what? I can tell this man anything, because he just opened up to me about like the most private thing.
Yeah, man.
So why are you so hot?
I think the reason why I'm like that is because it breaks the ice with people,
right?
Because it kind of sets the tone of, okay, I'm okay with being uncomfortable. I could tell this person's being uncomfortable, so I'm going to say something super weird or super left field.
Yeah,
and then it's going to be like, oh shoot, this person's a human. We can actually vibe.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's such a good point.
So I do those things, man. I do those things even with some members in the gym.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that. So doing, like, what has been the subject lately?
Oh my gosh, man. So
break it down.
So we do this annual trip to Grand Junction, and we visit Angie's sister and her husband and the kids all the time, and my wife and I, we have our new kid, Bo Shanko. Shout out to him. It should be nap time, Bo.
Yeah.
Time to go night.
He had to sneak here during Bo's nap time to do his podcast.
Yeah, daddy life, hashtag. But no, man, I was in Grand Junction, and when you're usually on vacation, I don't think about drinking water. I'm just thinking about eating the next thing that's like right by me. And so being able to just do that freely on vacations and not having to monitor my water intake, like I've done this before and it's never been an issue. Uh-huh. So I'm out there in Grand Junction. I'm drinking soda, juice, eating pizza.
Vacation.
Just vacationing, man. And I remember when we ordered the Domino's pizza, there was something funny about the sausage. It just tasted funny. Huh. And I was like, I'm not going to think anything of it. And I like sausage. It's good. And so I was eating the pizza. Everyone was eating the pizza fine. Well, the next day, not only Angie, wasn't feeling too well, but I was not only like the Hershey fountain of fountains, but there was others in the house that was experiencing the Hershey chocolate factory. Like everyone got a golden ticket today.
Okay.
And we are going to be shysting together. So so everyone had their golden ticket and was running to the restroom.
Right.
And
Chocolate river.
Oh my gosh. So I was running to the restroom back and forth, and actually just to paint this picture, Bo was taking a nap. Me and Angie, we were getting ready to go to our next event while we're in Grand Junction. So she's taking a shower while I am taking a shit. And it's just permeating.
That's married life. That's
married life.
For single people or new couples, it's inevitable. So
it's inevitable.
Don't fight it.
Don't fight it. Don't fight it. Just feel.
Let it happen, and don't make it weird for the other person if they're showing that kind of comfort towards you.
Yeah.
Just be a little accepting.
Just open. Open your heart up.
But I digress.
Well, while we were doing that, I was laboring, but I wasn't laboring that much. It was just a normal push. Just you know how you breathe in your nose.
You kind of.
It's one of those.
Yes, okay.
So it passed, but I did feel a little right side itch a little bit, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
Okay.
But I'm thinking it's just me doing my thing. You hyperspeed to me getting back to my trip, taking a shower Monday night. I figured, it's still feeling a little raw back there, but I was like, there's something just off. Let me just reach back there. So I took my right hand 4 fingers. Shout out to all the potluck seasons. Get ready for me. Took my 4 fingers and I just rubbed, my booty hole just to see what was going on. You got to be intimate with your body, people.
I mean, and comfortable.
Let's be real with this.
Yeah.
You got to make sure you're just checking yourself. So I just checked my booty hole and there was a bump. And I was like, oh my God, I think I might die. Like, this is where I go out. Like, this bump is going to take me out.
How
I got
awkward. I can't even imagine if I was to feel something back there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So as I'm taking a shower and I realize this.
Like your body's falling out through the ass.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much. And so I'm like in the shower, just like thinking all in my head, like, what is going on with me? Am I stressed out? Like, what did I do? Did I not drink enough water? Like, what is going on? Got to set an appointment, all this stuff.
Right.
So then I get out the shower, dry myself, and I call my wife and I says, babe, there's something near my booty hole. You have to check it out. And she's like, oh my God. Okay. And I was like, oh my goodness, you're a trooper.
Love,
yeah.
Right?
Get in there.
Like, I mean, in a marriage, there will be times that you will be tested.
Yes, absolutely. She passed it. So I got on the edge of the bed, all fours, doggy style, just literally just all fours. And she took my phone, spreaded my cheeks and said, oh my goodness, this is disgusting. And took a picture of it. And shows me, and I'm like, what is that? Can someone tell me what's on my asshole? Because it looks like a pimple. It was white. It looks like it came to a head, but it was super itchy and it was kind of irritated. It kind of felt like a permanent dingleberry in my butt. Oof. And so I was just like, you know what? Let's Google it. And that's one thing you kind of may want not to do, but there's an answer.
No, always. Here's the thing. Always Google it, man. I mean,
always Google it.
Just read everything. Don't read the first thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But why not? Why would you not look that up? And let me set my mind at ease or understand if I need to go to the hospital, right?
Yeah. So I checked all the boxes for a symptom of having a hemorrhoid. So I was like, okay, I got a hemorrhoid. So next day got Prep H, went and got some Epsom salt, already had ibuprofen, all the things I needed. And I just love sharing with my brother Rad everything I got going on personally and professionally. We actually had a bit of a situation I had to kind of get off my chest, but we're here now professionally. But on the personal side, I came in and I said, hey, man, I got to tell you something. And this shit's pretty serious. He's like, what's going on? I was like, I have a hemorrhoid in my ass, like literally on the right side of my booty hole. And so I might be taking it easy. I don't know. It doesn't bother me, but I might need to take it easy.
Probably info that's good to share with your trainer.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? So we're about to get into a serious, striking workout like Muay Thai. Muay Thai, right? It's not like where we're gonna go for a walk. You probably,
Yeah,
that's probably not a bad idea to let me know.
Not a bad idea. And shortly after that, you said, all right, everyone line up. And it's, all right, let's do air squats. So I was like, oh, shit, I don't know if I could do this.
He told Ashley, who was standing behind him in line, keep an eye if anything falls out.
Yeah.
To which she is perplexed, of course.
Yeah.
But, keeps things interesting.
So
on that note, the next day,
Yeah.
Shank comes in, class is lining up.
Yeah.
He walks up to me. We hadn't seen each other yet. He gives me a big hug, as always. He's like, "What's up, man? How you doing, man?" I was like, "Good, man. How are you?" He's like, "Man, my ass feels better." Yeah. And my whole class turns around and looks at us, to which I say, "You don't look a grown man in the eyes and say something like that."
Yeah, you don't do that. You don't do that. Two men. And,
but good news is, it wasn't that shocking because to the point of Shank being hot, he had already kind of told, and I did not know this, half of the class about his hemorrhoid.
Everyone knew.
So every day, and you know what's interesting? People care.
People care, man.
Because they ask you every day,
people really
how
care,
is it going?
man. How's
how
the
are you
hemorrhoid?
doing?
What are the tricks of the trade? Right. How much do you soak your booty? I'm just like, yeah, you know what? Yeah. I'm going to tell you.
Yeah. He was asking a couple of our students who were our nurses.
Yeah.
And I think one of them, she just threw her hands up. She was like, "I don't know."
Yeah.
Shank's like, "So when should I go to the hospital? Should I wait should I wait till Tuesday?"
Yeah.
And she's like, she just shook her head. She said, I don't know.
I don't know.
Had the other nurse, Mike, cracking up in the background.
Yeah.
Just play it by ear, man.
Play it by ear. I was literally asking Ashley, I was like, diagnose me.
Yeah, like, tell me when I should go to the doctor.
I don't want bunghole anything,
I guess the good rule is when it starts to hurt more.
If it starts to hurt more, that's when you need to go in. So it's actually, everything's the opposite for me. Like, it's less itchy. Actually, I don't feel it. It's still
Probably
there,
healing.
ladies and gentlemen.
It might just...
It's
it's still there. Okay.
It's still there. It's still alive and kicking. But I will say it's not that hard. It's really soft, kind of.
Well, and you're able to... and so you mentioned this. You're able to sit down comfortably.
Able to sit down.
Because I was kind of joking with... The first thing when you hear hemorrhoid, you picture that donut pillow, right? And I was like, "Oh, you're going to have to use one of those donut pillows." You're like,
walk around awkwardly.
Yeah. You were like, "No, I don't know. I feel okay. I can sit down. I can..." And you've been exercising hard, so
man.
It doesn't seem to be too much of a hindrance.
Yeah,
more maybe in just kind of irritating.
Yeah, it's a little irritating. It's a little irritating. So, but that's my butthole in
current
5
state.
minutes.
The current state of your butthole.
Current state of my butthole.
Now, so that is just, that's probably an odd subject for a podcast, but this is who we are.
This is who we are,
and so
man.
we talk about this kind of stuff, and honestly, we just thought, we're going to talk about it anyway. If anyone's going to listen, they're going to listen, and if they're not, if you're not your cup of tea, don't sip it.
Yeah, and if you see me, just wave and say, "Hey, Justin,
how's your
hemorrhoid?" Yeah. How did that really go? Actually,
You're like, "Well, I'm better."
Yeah, I'm doing well.
But you are going to the doctor this week, maybe.
I'm gonna check in on Tuesday. So I'm gonna do downward dog on Tuesday night. So keep your prayers up for me. And just gonna take another shot. I already have the other one. I still have the other photo.
Right. So you have a comparison.
So we can compare. See if it went down, and then
maybe at some point when it goes away, that's something you could delete off your phone.
I might keep it.
I might keep it.
You know.
I mean, if you really, I don't know. Maybe should you name it?
I should probably name it.
Is that weird?
I mean, if anything, it should be Harry. I mean, like Harry and Polly or something like that.
No, this hemorrhoid's a little worse, or this one's not as bad, because I'm sure it's going to happen again once.
It's going to happen. I'm gonna have a hard shit again. Yeah. I mean, it's gonna happen. And honestly, so when I picked up Gregory, we had to go do some things that last weekend, and I helped him out with some stuff. And I just told him, I says, "Hey, man, I know we got about an hour drive to go do this, but just to let you know, I got a hemorrhoid, so I might just be uncomfortable." And he was like, "Oh, we getting close." And so he was like, "Well, just so you know, Jay, I had 2." And I was like, "Oh my God."
I would not. You're potentially the first person. Now, it could be because you're the first person to share it with me.
It could be.
But you're the first person, man, I know of a lot of people.
Yeah.
I have known a lot of people.
Yeah.
I will not disclose my age yet, but I am not young.
No, you're not.
But I'm not old.
Yeah.
But I know, so that said, I've known a lot of people, and I don't recall ever knowing anyone who's had that. Like, you hear about it, I've seen it in movies, but I don't think I've known anyone who ever did. And so, but again, they probably just didn't. It's just not something,
something you just don't talk about.
But I wonder how common, or is that, I don't know. Is that a common thing?
Is that a common thing?
Like, is it common in men from age blah to blah? Is it common in men in general?
Yeah.
Is it is it due to a
hernias are common in men?
Oh, and that's
Hernias.
another thing.
And
that
I
you
had
experienced
surgery.
That.
Yeah,
man, what is going on below the waist?
I don't know, man. I don't know. It definitely ain't a party down below. I'll tell you that.
You had a hernia in 2010. It was
2010.
Yeah, that surgery. I
had
remember
the
that
surgery.
Yeah,
I had plantar fasciitis.
Yeah.
You
had a severe case of that.
I had my knee situation, and I think I was just too heavy up top.
Yeah. Dang, man, like
hip. Remember
thank
my
God,
hip was just popping out of nowhere.
Thank God you're regular with your training. Like,
could
you imagine if you were like not in shape and obese?
It would be bad.
I mean, not. I don't know, man. There's no guarantee that stuff wouldn't have happened.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Do you got anything for us, Jen?
Yes, hemorrhoids are common in both men and women, and they affect 1 in 20 Americans. About half of adults older than the age 50 have hemorrhoids.
Oh,
he's way under
I'm
that.
34. What am I doing?
You need to have a diet richer in fiber.
Yeah.
And don't strain while you poop.
Well, you know what I did? So this is it. This is literally what I did. And it came out. It literally came out, guys.
I think maybe it was like
it was just the right time.
Teetering from a previous strain. Because come on, man, there's one thing you share a lot, and it's your visits to the bathroom.
It is.
It's kind of in our inner circle.
Yeah.
It's kind of a running joke. We know you're going to tell us a bathroom story.
Yeah, man.
Prolonged periods on the toilet will increase your chances of getting hemorrhoids.
Oh, geez, man, I need to be careful then, dude. I spend. It's gotten better. But I wrote 2 books on the toilet.
I think I remember you telling me that.
Yeah. When people used to come into my bathroom, remember, they'd find my laptop and everything, and they were like, "Why is all this in here? It's my office."
Yeah, this is your office. This is your office.
But that's gotten better because I think my kids were teasing me about how much time I spent in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Because I started to get inconsiderate where we'd be watching a movie, and I would pause the movie and say, I just got to run to the bathroom.
Man.
And I was staying there so long, and my son, he would just leave. He would go upstairs because he'd be waiting for 30 minutes.
So check this out. So me and Angie, like, first of all, we're planning to try and get a house and all this stuff next year. And I absolutely see me being in the visitor or the other stall to do my thing. And I'll never, it's always just the thing between me and Angie. Whenever I take a shit, it's like, it's an announcement, whether verbally, whether scent wise.
Is it an announcement or a warning?
Or everyone knows. Like even Bo to Angie and to Johan, like, oh God, Daddy's taking a dump. So I remember one time I went downtown and I ordered this like burger mac and cheese burger. Okay. And it was saucy. I mean, I knew. I was like, oh, man, this is going to get me.
Yeah.
It's going to get my stomach, but I'm about to go for it. Because I came with an empty tank. I was ready to go. I was hungry. I was eating the burger and, hanging out with some friends. I was like, all right, y'all, I got to go. On the highway, talking to wifey, seeing if I need to stop off anywhere before I get home. She's like, nah, you're good. And then next thing you know.
Oh, that's.
And I was like, babe, I'm going to need you to unlock the door.
No, so you called ahead.
So I called ahead because it was in the same conversation of what do we need to get? No, you can just come home. And then I says, I need you to unlock the door. I'm coming in hot. She's like, what do you mean? And I was like, my back's against the wall. I need to take a shit. I'm coming in hot. Unlock the door.
Like, how bad do you have to go? It's like basically, I just picture you running, and then she just opens the door and you just sprint through.
Oh my gosh! So that's exactly what happened. I literally was like one of the Smokey situations where from Friday, where I pull up on the curb, door halfway open, put it in park. I'm running up the stairs, bust the door open, and just.
Oh,
it
man.
was bad. Now, Angie,
I've had that.
We've had situations. What is your situation? I'm curious.
Kind of the same. I've had those situations.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. Just I think for me. Was that
when we went to go get your emissions?
Oh my god!
What happened?
Same thing, man. And so we were pulling up to the emissions place, and it was just hurting all morning. So I was like, "No, pull into that gas station over there."
I hate gas station poops.
I hate gas station.
Oh my gosh, the bathrooms are disgusting.
I tend to basically put like almost a whole roll of toilet paper on the seat.
Yeah, you got to do that.
Now I'm Filipino. I'm half Filipino, and in Asia. You don't sit on the toilet. That's disgusting. Like they basically look at commode seats. As like that's disgusting.
Oh.
So they, and I didn't know this till when I went to Philippines to visit my family. I was 15. None of the toilets had commode seats. Couldn't figure it out. I was like, how do I do this? My mom's like, you squat. What do you mean you squat? So they squat. They actually balance on the toilet with their feet and squat and go to the bathroom so that the butt never touches the rim. And then they clean. No toilet paper. There's always a faucet right next. So in the Philippines, the bathrooms, the faucet is next to the toilet, so you clean yourself. So they look at us as we're disgusting because we just smear it around with toilet paper when they clean after every visit. And so for me, I'm 6'4". How the hell am I going to squat like that? So I had to brace against the walls and lean over. And so you're trying to go, but you're using all your upper body strength to hold yourself in place. So
oh my gosh,
it's interesting, man.
And there's been a couple situations where it's like, okay, this is the day I'm a grown man and I will be shitting my pants in the car. Like this will be the day where everything's coming out. I got to get rid of my favorite jeans or my favorite workout shorts, whatever it is. Like this will be, but it's never reached that day.
Well, good, because I think to an extent, at least for this time, you still have control of your bodily function.
Well, I've had moisture. So I've had situations where I would try and just relieve a little gas.
No, not the shart.
Yeah, so I've sharted a couple times in my life.
I will tell you, as I've gotten older, and again, not young, not old, that it's the peeing. I can't hold my bladder. Like I'm not peeing myself. I want to be clear about that, but I feel like I have to go more frequently. And when I have to go, so I don't know if I'm just holding it too much. But when I have to go, man, like there's been times that I'm like shaking in the car, like I'm stomping my foot on the floorboard, pulling up to the house, like I'm like, I'm not gonna make it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
There's this trick when I was stuck in a blizzard. I was coming back from Vegas. I was driving. I was all by myself. I was driving from Vegas home. I was stuck in a blizzard and I had to pee so bad. But because of the blizzard, there's so much traffic, and I knew of this trick that you scratch behind your calf when you have to pee, and it subsides. Right now, it does work, but all it does is take away that immediate feeling that you have to pee. But 2 seconds later, you feel it again. So basically, I'm like scratching my leg raw, just trying to make it through this blizzard, driving back through the mountains.
You're a guy. My gosh. Just pull over.
I can't in a blizzard? Like,
my gosh.
Here's the thing. So my wife just said, I'm a guy, just pull over. So next thing you know is I'm standing out in the open. Peeing. I'm going to jail.
Mommy.
You got to take into account. Like, you can't just be stopping and peeing anywhere. You just can't do that.
You can't do that.
It seems easy, but no, that's not an option.
What I'm curious about is how long can you actually hold a piss until you're actually like damaging something? Like, how long can you hold it?
I don't think you can. I think eventually your body will expel it. I just don't. I think
really?
I don't think anyone's. I'm not gonna say anyone. I'm sure somebody's pushed it to the limit.
Yeah.
But I believe that the body. There's a point. I mean, think about it, man. You've had those where you're like, thank God, because if I did not. You know,
oh my gosh, man.
So I think your body will expel it. I don't think anyone has the, and you know what? We may have to look into that next time, but if we want to continue the subject, but I don't think anyone can hold to the point of, what am I trying to say? Hold it to indefinitely.
Yeah.
I just don't see that as an option.
It's not an option.
I think that you can hold it to, I think you can hold it gets painful. I think you'll cause maybe stomach pain. Like I've had those kind of moments.
Oh man.
But yeah.
You can even walk up straight. You're just like, oh God.
Yeah.
I mean, and actually it's a secret, but it's something that, because I've experienced that too, where I would hold my pee to where I just have to just let it go. Maybe I pull a bottle out from the back
I've had
seat.
I
I have a dedicated bottle for that very reason, because you never know.
Yeah, I haven't done that since I was a kid, but I remember the first time I remember my uncle making me do that, because we were in Louisiana. My family's from Louisiana, and we were driving across this long bridge, and you remember that bridge, honey, because we drove across it when we were going to it. So this never-ending bridge, right? And I had to pee, and I'm a kid, and he's like, "Use the bottle."
Oh.
And I'm like, what? I think I was 5.
That's so convenient.
It is. Yeah, it really is.
And so, sure enough, but you know what you're trying to do? You ain't trying to spill it. So
you're not trying
it's harder than you think.
It's harder than you think. So I've ran into this situation. Let me break it down for you guys.
Well, then when you have more and you can't stop and it's going to overflow the bottle, that's the worst feeling in the world.
That's the worst feeling. So I've had situations where I would almost fill the bottle up, but then you will pull it out prematurely. There's still some left in the chamber.
There's a cramp that you get. And there's this feeling that you get. It feels like someone just basically just grabbed a tube that you and just squeezed it.
It's squeezing
and it feels like it's a strain. I equate it to feels like I got kicked in the groin. Like it can. I remember, when you have to stop when you're in a heavy flow.
Oh my gosh, man!
But all that said, I can't believe where we went with this conversation.
Yeah, I know. What are we talking about? Life, happiness, and pee and poop.
But that said, that's kind of what this is about, right?
Yeah.
We're not. Listen, we're unscripted. And again, it's unrequested. We're just here to kind of just to talk and to vibe, and I hope that you're vibing and just having a good listen. It's not. I hope it's entertaining. The reason I'm kind of changing the subject because we're coming up to the end of our hour here, and these are going to run about 45 minutes to an hour. It depends, and I hope you really enjoy it. Again, we're just going to have, conversations about random things. And if we can offer advice or insight or just a laugh, put a smile in your face, man. Like with everything going on, it's just, we just feel like it's just something to put out there for fun. For us, it's fun. And then I hope you have fun listening to it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What do you want to add to that, Shank?
Man, you know what? That holds so true because, like I said, what you said in the beginning, so true. We have so many different types of conversations and so many different dynamics and things we unpack and talk about. And it's just like, what if we just record it and just let people hear what we talk about? And maybe it catches on, maybe it doesn't. But at least we checked the box of curiosity.
Right.
I'll tell you that daggone much.
Well, and just to, like I said, if you're listening and it's just, it's just a couple guys rambling, but you have a good laugh. I mean, or you don't, if we annoy you, that's a reaction too.
That's
it is
right.
what it is.
Yeah.
But man, if you were listening, I want to thank you for listening. I hope you kind of, enjoy these podcasts. And again, we are new to this whole thing. I don't even know if I'm supposed to be referring to. I don't know if there's a hipper way to refer to it. I think it's called a podcast.
Yeah.
So, we hope you enjoyed getting to know us a little bit today. We will have different subjects in each episode. So in the subject line, obviously, we'll try to give you a little hint as to what we're going to be talking about. But as you can tell, the conversation diverges, or it can go down different ways, which keeps it interesting.
Yeah.
We don't edit this stuff; it's raw.
Yeah.
Right?
Shout out to Jen DeRusso, fact checking.
Yeah.
Jennifer DeRusso,
mad love. Yeah. And then that said, there, Justin's wife is amazing as well. So we're going to have a couple of periodically have episodes. It's going to be a couple episodes where we have the women on, so you can get their conversation, their perspectives, and all that stuff. This is definitely life and relationships are not one sided. So I'm not going to act like we got all the answers. That's why Jennifer's here, kind of, keep the boys in check.
Yeah.
Although I don't know, I think she was back there laughing so much today that she really didn't slow us down at all.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's all I have to say. You want anything else to sign off?
Oh man, welcome to season 1, y'all.
Season one
Absolutely. Of 2020. What we're doing here, man. We got a lot of stuff cooking in the kitchen. Buckle up. It's go time.
That's right. All right. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Have a good one.
Bye.